Chapter 5 The Boss in the Basement.
Chapter 5 The Boss in the Basement. Once the first survivor agreed to investigate the basement with Tsukuyomi, she gave him a quick, assessing glance before asking, "Show me your weapons." Without hesitation, the first survivor gathered his gear. He carefully collected his kunai and slipped them into their pouch, which he then handed to her. Next, he unzipped his backpack and pulled out a dented but sturdy aluminum baseball bat, along with a worn, double-barreled shotgun. Finally, from a holster strapped to his right thigh, he withdrew his six-shooter revolver and laid all the weapons on the floor between them. Tsukuyomi crouched beside the weapons, inspecting them one by one with the trained eye of a seasoned warrior. Her fingers lightly brushed over the revolver's frame, then the handle of the bat. She paused, looked up at him sharply, and asked, "Have you ever encountered zombies that are larger than the rest? Ones that seem to think?" The first survivor nodded solemnly. "Yes. I see at least one whenever I'm fighting a horde. They're stronger, more coordinated. It's like they're planning their attacks, but not all the way. They're not intelligent, but there's something there. A flicker of thought, maybe instinct." Tsukuyomi leaned back on her heels. "I call them elite zombies. I've tried to figure out what makes them different. One day, while scavenging the basement of the first twin building, I stumbled across several strange items. At first, I thought they were junk, scraps from before the fall. But then something incredible happened. She pulled off her long coat and turned to show him the hilt of her katana strapped to her back. When I carry certain items, my weapons evolve. The moonshade blade technique is amplified tenfold when I wear this Ronin headband." She touched the faded strip of cloth tied around her head. "My katana even turns a blood-red hue, and with every swing, it sends out a razor-sharp energy wave that slices through zombies like butter." She stood up and turned to face him fully. "I have a few more of these relics, but I haven't had anyone else to test them with. I want to see what effect, if any, they have on your weapons." The first survivor scratched the back of his head, uncertain. "She can't be serious," he thought, "but she doesn't seem like the joking type." He looked at the small pile of gear between them, then back at her resolute face. "Okay," he said finally. "Let's give it a shot. Even if it's all nonsense, no harm done, right?" Tsukuyomi smiled faintly, perhaps the first time since they met. She opened her backpack and pulled out a scroll wrapped in crimson silk. "Here, hold this and pick up one of your weapons." He took the scroll cautiously, unrolling it to reveal hand-drawn kanji characters etched in dark ink. The script read, "A ninja must become one with their weapon. This scroll shall grant you that bond." He rolled it back up and slid it into his belt like a blade in its sheath. Then he reached down and picked up the baseball bat. A pause. Nothing happened. "Am I doing this right?" he asked, lifting the bat up and turning it over. Tsukuyomi shook her head. "If nothing happened by now, that weapon's not compatible." "Yeah, makes sense," he muttered. "When have you ever seen a ninja use a baseball bat?" He chuckled, dropping it gently to the floor. Next, he reached for the sack of kunai. Opening it, he pulled one from the bundle, and to his astonishment, the kunai shimmered in his hand and morphed into a sleek, razor-edged shuriken. "Whoa," he whispered. He flung it at the wooden door across the room. As it sailed through the air, 10 more identical shuriken materialized behind it in a spiraling motion. All of them struck the door dead center with pinpoint precision, and the original shuriken returned to his hand without so much as grazing him. "This is insane," he said, eyes wide. "I wonder how they perform with moving targets." Tsukuyomi grabbed some scattered debris from the floor, a broken mug, a rusted wrench, half of a chair leg, and tossed them across the room. "Try hitting these." He threw the shuriken again. This time, they curved midair, homing in on each piece of debris and striking them with surgical accuracy. His mouth hung open in disbelief. "These things are heat-seeking," he exclaimed. "This scroll, it's not just enhancing the weapon, it's making it alive." Tsukuyomi nodded. "And that's just one item. Try this next." She handed him a thick, oversized bullet with a gleaming brass finish. "This one might be for your shotgun or revolver." He tucked it into his pocket, then picked up his revolver. The gun split down the center with a faint glow, transforming into 2 matching 6-shooters that shimmered gold. Each gun pulsed with energy. He aimed at the same wooden door and pulled the triggers. Both revolvers fired in unison, each shot unleashing a powerful kinetic blast. Every pull of the trigger launched 2 bullets per revolver in rapid succession. When the chambers emptied, both weapons auto-reloaded with a metallic click-clack. He grinned wide. Now we're talking. Then he reached for the shotgun. The instant his fingers wrapped around it, the weapon glowed and transformed into a miniaturized Gatling gun. It was heavy, requiring 2 hands, and had a crank handle on top. When he squeezed the trigger, a stream of bullets erupted in a continuous line, tearing through the door and reducing it, and half the wall behind it, to splinters. The sheer power sent vibrations through the room. Holy hell, he said, awestruck. You got any more? Tsukuyomi chuckled. I have 2 more items. No idea what they're compatible with, though. She pulled out a small glowing cube labeled Energy Core and a miniature jet engine no larger than a soda can. He tried holding them with his baseball bat, but no transformation occurred. Nothing, he said, slightly disappointed. But let's hold on to them. Who knows? Maybe we'll find something they do work with. She nodded. Now let's head down. I truly believe the basement holds the source of all this. They moved toward the stairwell. The walls grew darker as they descended, grime coating each surface. The faint smell of oil and rot drifted upward. At the very bottom of the stairwell, embedded into the wall, stood a large machine with a circular doorway surrounded by metal coils. The center of the circle was filled with a glowing, semi-transparent wall of shifting yellow and blue light, humming faintly like an electrical field. The first survivor approached it cautiously and extended a hand. It passed through the energy field with no resistance. He pulled it back and inspected it. No burns, no damage. You think we should go in? He asked. Tsukuyomi stepped beside him, a spark of determination in her eyes. If you're not scared, I'm not either. Just as they prepared to enter, the machine gave a loud whirring sound, followed by a deep mechanical hiss. From the far side of the chamber, something massive emerged, a figure twisted between man and machine. A towering zombie lumbered into view, nearly 8 feet tall. Its right arm was fully mechanical, ending in a tri-barreled cannon. Rockets jutted from each shoulder. Half of its skull was cybernetic, metal plates fused with torn flesh, and its jaw was a lower mandible made of jagged, spiked steel. Glowing red optics flared from the side of its face. It turned to them and let out a deep, gurgling snarl. The first survivor tensed. I think it's about to charge. Tsukuyomi drew her blade. Its crimson glow lit up the